Hi there, welcome back to Waxing On. Classic Rock Wednesday, and we've got a classic for you today. Early 1970s. Now, we have profiled the Beatles. We've looked at solo albums by John Lennon, Paul McCartney. Today it's George Harrison. George Harrison's first major release after the Beatles were starting to break up, 1970s we're looking at, and it was George Harrison's All Things Must Pass. Now, didn't buy the album at the time, right? It was a 3-record set. I mean, it was pretty expensive. The box set album, couldn't really afford those kind of things. Now, since the advent of digital downloads and, everything that's come along with that, I have downloaded a copy of it, so I now do have it in my collection, but it's a digital collection. What I do have is the music book that went with it, because I bought that at the time. And again, a couple of significant things here. I remember the picture I was reading online because I didn't know at the time. I mean, who would have thought? The picture itself might have been significant because it was George Harrison sitting separate from 4 garden gnomes. And they claim that maybe represents his separation from the Beatles. Now, in the book I bought, you can see there's been a corner torn off, and it was like that when I got it. So I don't know which one of the Beatles they've actually torn out of there. Maybe George would know. Anyways, first album out, box set, and some great tunes on here. Now, this was also when he started collaborating with Bob Dylan. And first song in the album, Have You Any Time, was a song that he and Bob Dylan had written together. There's also another Bob Dylan tune on here called If Not For You, which you may have heard before, or maybe heard us talk about in the Bob Dylan segment. It was part of his New Morning album. And Bob Dylan also shows up, if you remember. After this, Harrison did another album, The Concert for Bangladesh. Ravi Shankar, Bob Dylan, and there was a kind of a collaboration between them. Also, they showed up in the Traveling Wilburys together. So yeah, him and Bob Dylan had quite a working relationship. This one, some of the songs were big hits. Some of them maybe not quite so familiar. And in the 3-album set, they had 2 albums of music and one kind of special album, not included in the music book, not part of the songs. So what we have on here for tunes, first let me just tell you who's playing on it, because as usual, Harrison's got a few cronies with him. On drums and percussion, we got Ringo Starr joining in. Now, Ringo's about the only Beatle that contributes on here as well. Lennon, McCartney, not show up on this album. Keyboards, he's got Billy Preston back in, who had helped out on Let It Be, and I remember when I bought the first single for Get Back, it had specified it was featuring Billy Preston, so he was kind of making a name for himself then. Guitar, we've got Dave Mason, George Harrison, and Eric Clapton. And Clapton had helped out on While My Guitar Gently Weeps. I mean, him and Harrison also very well connected. Tenor saxophone, Bobby Keys. Now, you may remember we talked about Bobby Keys. A lot of times he was recording with Rolling Stones. He was one of the premier saxophonists that played with a lot of rock groups. Trumpet, Jim Price, also a name we mentioned before. Him and Keys were kind of involved in a lot of projects together. One I think of right off the top with Price, although it might have been Alan Price. There was one that played with Joe Cocker on Mad Dogs and Englishmen. But again, Jim Price in there on a couple of other things. Rhythm guitars and percussion, Badfinger. You may remember that band. Let me see who else we've got on here. We've got Gary Booker and Gary Wright on keyboards. So he had a lot of friends coming in, not really a regular band, but a recording group that he had. Tunes in there. I'd Have You Any Time, the one he wrote with Bob Dylan. My Sweet Lord, big hit for Harrison. Later, a big headache for Harrison. You may remember the old plagiarism trials where he was found guilty of unconscious plagiarism for that tune. Wah Wah, Isn't It a Pity? Now, this is one of the ones that we have 2 versions of it. We also have, I think, maybe 2 versions of another one, but Isn't It a Pity was one. What Is Life? Another big hit for Harrison. If Not For You, the tune Bob Dylan wrote. Behind That Locked Door, Let It Down, and Run of the Mill. That takes care of album 1. Second album in there, Beware of Darkness, Apple Scruffs, Ballad of Frankie Crisp. And just go back, I when I was reading and researching it, Apple Scruffs, that was a nickname they had for the people who used to hang around Apple Records, the fans or the groupies or whatever. Okay, back Awaiting on You All and All Things Must Pass. And side 4, I Dig Love, Art of Dying, the second version of Isn't It a Pity, and the tune Hear Me Lord. Now, a lot of religious overtones in the music he was doing at this time as well. But again, a chance for him to get out front. He'd had a few songs. I mean, I think back on Abbey Road, we're looking at Here Comes the Sun, great tune he had done in there. Taxman, he's a couple that were really odd. Blue Jay Way from Magical Mystery Tour. I don't know, not really what he was doing in the later years. But yeah, we've featured Harrison a few times through the day. Now an album of what he really wanted to play. And I think there was a part of a story in there too that he wanted to get some of this incorporated in some of the other Beatles albums, but the guys really weren't receptive. I mean, he did get a few tunes on the White Album, and that's where My Guitar Gently Weeps came from. And I think all of them kind of shared some space on the White Album, but this was George solo, just his cronies and friends helping him out and doing what he wanted to do. If you get a chance to hear it, the original version with the 3 albums, that'd be great. Digital downloads are available. Streaming, always think about going back. And I don't see it so much with this one, but with the concert in Bangladesh, the concert video available on YouTube and places like that. Now, I did have a person gave me a call. They have the Bangladesh one, and I may end up getting a hold of that sometime soon. But we'll see. If we do, we'll come back and we'll take a look at that album as well. Because that was another multi-disc box set, which, again, was kind of prohibitive for a lot of us in those days to be able to purchase. But digital downloads, thank you very much. Making it affordable, making it accessible. There was a second version of this came out on album, more colorized in the cover. This is the original cover from the original release. Okay, that's it for today. A look at music from George Harrison. Maybe not as much in the forefront as what Lennon and McCartney were, but certainly a great musician. A lot of recordings out there if you want to check out, again, on the streaming of the digital downloads, a lot of material he put out. At least one Beatle left, right? Ringo. We'll get there. Okay, thanks a lot for stopping by today. We'll see you on Friday. And until then, everybody take care. Stay safe. Have a great week.